happy. Thursday, right? Are we at Thursday? Jiminy Cricket. I hate these 5-day work weeks. These things suck. I just want to tell you.
If you're going to complain about working 80 hours a week, then maybe not have 3 jobs.
Yeah, maybe not. I just want to tell you, we've got stories for you today. Yeah, we're going to hit on the Kimmel stuff. We've got a story that's going to soften your heart. And another story that's going to go, oh, and then think, I don't know if they should do that. I don't think that's something we should be doing. So I'm glad that Charlie's wife's taking it over. Everybody was trying to figure out who could replace him, who could do this, her. And you know what? In many cases, if you go back and look through life, when a tragedy like this happens and somebody steps up, you realize that this, unfortunately, may be their destiny to take this and make it something even bigger and stronger. And I've seen that. And it's the person that maybe you didn't think was going to be the person to do it. Or as everybody was pontificating, I was reading, articles the last several days. Oh, because it's be this person. It's going to be, and a lot of people kind of throwing their hats in there. What about this person? What about that person? And a lot of it was baloney. But she's the obvious choice. She is. Not only for his memory, but to take what he's done, because she's been the closest, and to grow it and in ways that maybe, we can't even think about. And I think that's just a smart thing. Plus, she's got the vigor, the vim, like this extra energy because of what happened. So I thought that was awesome. I did. I mean, Ken ruined it with his tease. Yeah. You'll get better at those. You'll get better at those. We were talking about Messianic Jews, and somebody had texted in before Chris left. A Mason Jew? No, Messianic. They believe they're Jewish. And remember, they're Jewish as in they've got Jewish blood, but they believe that Jesus was the Messiah. Where other Jews, like the rest of them, don't. They believe he's not come yet because he's late. Oh, Chad, burned the bagels. Saw Trump and man, the pomp and circumstance last night. Woo! Trump was in his element. Top hat and tails. Loved it.
Did they ever eat?
No. I don't think
I was getting ready to say, man, if you were hungry and at that dinner, you're probably starving to death.
Those, first of all, I could think of no other place in the world. Everybody's looking at that going, Trump's like, all I want is a burnt steak and a Diet Coke, right? No, you're not getting that.
I want a Big Mac.
Totally. Yeah, Brits. Messianic Jews are essentially like Christians, like part Jew, part Gentile, right? They believe in Jesus. They believe he was the Messiah. They believe he's the Son of Man. They believe all of those things, the same thing that Christians do, but they are, what we would consider if they're Jewish, right? So they trace their line, the whole 9 yards. They could live in Israel, all of that stuff. There's not as many. There's not as many. Somebody said Erica Kirk, 2032. Man, I tell you what, I don't know if I'd want to be the president. Right?
No way, man.
No way. That just the thought of, and even in we're going to have Gino Bulso on a little bit later. It's just running for something at this point in time. How it's on you 24/7. It's not just in a newspaper. It's not. It's nonstop chaos. It feels like, and I don't know, because I know a lot of people thought Charlie was going to do that. I don't. I always thought Charlie was going to try to go on and be more like a Billy Graham figure than anything. I think that's where his heart was leading him. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I don't think she'd want that. You got young kids too. That's the other thing, man. You got to think about it. You'd have young kids in the White House.
Yeah.
We had to.
And, I remember when everybody, Democrats, were clamoring for Michelle Obama to run.
Yeah.
Here in 2024. She didn't like it whenever Barack was in office.
No. Yeah.
There's no way she was going to get back in that.
Because she saw what a nightmare. Only psychotic people do that, Hillary, that want to do that and see it up close like that, too. Because not only did Hillary see it up close, she saw it up close as the first lady, Then she was in the Senate. Then she was the Secretary of State. So she saw it and she still wanted that job. Because when they all leave, man, they look 6 months afterwards, they look so much happier. Like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to think about this crap anymore.
Well, it's interesting. You watch them age. I remember the images of Obama after he came out of the first national security briefing.
Oh.
And his face is it's just like, so that's what's going on.
Yes.
And then look how fast, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton aged fast.
He did.
George W. aged
Bush.
fast.
And if you go look at Trump from his first debate to here, there's an aging process. There is. I mean, he may be orange still.
He's thinner. He's kept the weight off.
Yeah. Well, he's tried to. I mean, he is only, 183 pounds, according to him? That is always funny. He lies on his license like everybody. How tall are you? 5'11".
That's what I should have done. I just got my real ID back. Oh, not back, but I just got it in the mail yesterday. And, I looked at my particulars on there, and I thought I should have lied about that.
You should have. What would be your lying height?
I want to be at least 5'10". I'd like to be 5'10". It's never going to happen.
No.
I was close to it in high school.
And you're shrinking now?
I was 5'8.5".
You're almost there, man.
I was almost there, man.
How tall are you?
Now I'm 5'6".
Oh, shrinking.
Yeah.
Bill, what about you? How tall are you? 6?
6'1".
How tall are you with the hair?
If I tease it up like the 80s,
Yeah.
6'7".
Remember Fletch?
Yeah.
6'1", 6'8" with the afro. So it's a very everybody's got that lion thing, right? Like, if you've ever online dated, it's like, how tall are you? 6 foot.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, I would just lie. I was like, I'm 5'8". So that way, I'm surprised. Oh, goodness me. Crazy. So we do have some stuff. We'll talk about the Kimmel stuff. Again, I didn't have a chance to listen to the guys today. It's an interesting time. There's no doubt about it. It's a very interesting time. And everybody's all of these companies are trying to shed salaries. If you want to know what wins in the television industry, are you guys ready for this?
Money?
Football.
Football.
The Eagles and the Chiefs, the largest regular season early round game ever. 33.8 million people on a Sunday afternoon. Think about that. That's if they could buy all the live sports and then shut the stuff off the rest of the day, they probably would. Because a lot of these things are just money sucks. That's it. I mean, and you buy football and spend all that money because you're trying to promote your other shows as much as everything else. It used to be you spent a lot of money, the audience was there, and outside of the Super Bowl, though, you didn't get the huge money. Now you get the huge money for a regular season game. I mean, it's crazy. But when I looked today, I'm like, you will go now and look at the top 10 television shows every week. It'll be whatever game of the week was, followed by the after game show, followed by the next game of the week, followed by their pregame, and then their after game, and then the other 3 things, and then Sunday Night Football, and then 60 Minutes, that's like 9th. That's the way, maybe Dancing with the Stars. My wife, because I know that started last night, and she's like, I'm excited. I'm like, you're not going to watch that. She goes, I'm only watching because of Corey Feldman.
Why don't they just call that show Dancing with the B-listers?
Corey Feldman.
Man.
Corey Feldman. That's all you got to say.
I ran across that video where Howard Stern was like wearing a G-string or something.
Yeah.
And there were little people dancing, and Corey Feldman had a new song out, and he was performing. I think it was on MTV. But, I mean, it just looked like a freak show. If you haven't seen it, you got to look at it. I was just thinking, man, that's not how you launch your music career.
That is not. He is an interesting character because he really wants to be a rock star.
Yes.
And he goes, man, he'll play at any fair that you give him a chance to. And he gets out there. Did you see Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit brought him on stage?
No, they took him out on tour.
They took him out, and he rocked. Fred's like, dude, he's a legitimate. That guy can play the guitar. He's legit.
Well, there you go.
The problem is he's Corey Feldman.
Feldo.
Yeah. Remember how bad it was between him and Corey Haim, where the judge ordered them, they couldn't even be around each other?
Yeah.
Think about that. Think about your best friend and you getting into so much trouble that a judge looks at you and says, you two can't be around each other anymore.
That's what stifled their career.
That was it. And I always remind everybody, Corey Feldman was in a
Cult.
Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah, he was. And he was also in The Burbs.
He was. Oh, God, he was great in The Burbs.
Yeah.
Great. And if you've never seen that movie, that was great.
I wanted to live on that street.
The only movie that mattered that he was in, though, was Lost Boys.
He was good in that.
He was amazing in that.
He was good in that. He was in.
What about the Goonies?
That's no Lost Boys.
Was he?
Well, maybe, yeah.
The Lost Boys, man, that's different. That's awesome. That was great. There's a movie I'm surprised they never tried to remake.
Yeah,
But you can't.
Shh. Not so loud. They might do it.
That's one of those you probably shouldn't try. It's just like Red Dawn. They never should have.
Oh.
Never should have done that.
That was not good. Red Dawn. That second one, That first one was perfect. All they did was went over and they got all of the cast from The Outsiders and just moved them all over
just
until
moved
them all fight.
all over into World War III.
Yeah. God, that was a great movie. Oh, I'm surprised. Though, because we were just, if you haven't seen the Anaconda video
Oh yeah.
that came out, the trailer for the new one starring Jack Black and Paul Rudd, and I said, Belle, you got to watch it. It was hilarious.
It really is.
It's almost Tropical Thunder-esque meets Anaconda.
Yeah.
So, dream a little dream. License to Drive. Oh,
License to Drive. Yeah.
yeah, those were great movies. Lost Boys for the win. So, yeah, that was God, those guys were huge back in the day.
man.
They were Tiger Beat worthy. Remember Tiger Beat?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a magazine for those of you who don't know what that is.
Well,
Which is sort of like the internet on paper.
That's what I tell everybody. Dad, when does everything update? It never does.
I liked him in Stand By Me.
Yeah. It was great. It's got to be weird, though, now that you're playing like old folks' homes, dressed like a bandolero with a half mask, like you're in the movie. What was that? The Phantom of the Opera?
Yeah.
Oh, Corey. Coming up, a lot of stuff. The most surreal thing, we're going to talk about it, and I've got just a bunch of fun stories. We're going to talk a bit about Kimmel. I've got some issues with this. I think we should all have a little bit of issues with this because, well, our business, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, what goes around comes around. And as you said, Ken, tit for tat.
Yeah.
And I worry. No doubt. You have to. Absolutely. Because, one thing, shedding salary, one thing, using it as excuse, all of those kind of things. But it was the way it kind of went down, I think, that people are having some issues with. And that people on the right get excited because they can't stand Kimmel. But it's the, unforeseen circumstances and stuff and consequences that come with it afterwards.
If the FCC chairman would have just kept his mouth shut,
Yeah.
it would have been fine.
Yeah. But it was the way he kind of did. And this is, that was not the first time he said it. Said it a couple weeks earlier as well with Emily Jakowski from Breaking Points and whatnot. He talked about the same thing. So talk about that, among other things, straight ahead. Chad Benz Show, Super Talk 997. Prize Picks Great. So Prize Picks is a great way. You can earn up to 2,000 times your money. And it is a way where you're not picking teams or lines. You're picking players' projected stats. So when you play a lineup, it has to be two. So you play player over here, player A, player B. And you pick more or less. It's that simple. And they're already giving you one to start right now. So they're giving you one basically 99.9% chance for you to win, which is whether or not Patrick Mahomes will have more than a half a yard passing. So I think he will. Now you pick somebody else. When you play your first $5 lineup, this is what's great. They're going to give you $50 instantly into your account. So maybe your next thing is, will Saquon score one or more touchdowns? Will Josh Allen rush for more than 60 yards? That's simple. And that's how you set your lineup. Again, you can go from anywhere from 2 all the way up to 6, win 2,000 times your money. Download the app today. Use my code Chad. You're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, win or lose. That's code Chad to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Pick. It's good to be right. Must be 21 in Tennessee. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-889-9789.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
All right, Busy Bee, best prices of the year event. Savings, massive opportunities to even get incredible deals and to gift. That's right, National Grandparents' Day all month long. So if you're a Beehive Club member, get a free Beehive Club membership to one set of grandparents just for honoring them. And Busy Bee said, hey, look, this is the way we love Grandma and Grandpa. It's fantastic. If you're for your neighbor, both of you get a $50 credit when you schedule an HVAC maintenance. You buy a new HVAC unit, 5-year labor warranty free with every purchase. Great deals on plumbing. And here's another thing that is awesome. And this is huge. If you get any HVAC repair, scheduled maintenance done, they're going to give you a free dryer duct cleaning. Boom! Absolutely free. It's a great way to protect your home and breathe easier. And do it with Busy Bee. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. 775-7833, 775-7833, or online at busybeehvac.com.
So Turning Point USA has its new CEO and chair, and President Trump has weighed in verbally, and we'll let you hear on the firing, if you will, of Jimmy Kimmel from ABC. These stories are more at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's the world we live in, Ken. Trying to bring back the dodo bird.
Dire wolves.
Have you seen the dire wolves?
No.
They have doubled in size.
Really?
They are huge. It's going to be awesome. And they're healthy as can be.
They better not release them in Idaho.
They are not. They're going to keep them.
Those ranchers in Idaho will kill them on the spot.
Yeah. And you don't want to kill those because those are very expensive dire wolves.
Yes.
Those aren't regular. Those aren't your run-of-the-mill regular wolves. But I was telling, this is how weird our world is. So if you guys follow Candace Owens every once in a while, just to see what's going on out there that's wacky. She's in a lawsuit with the Macrons of France because she's got it on great evidence, has done documentaries, all these things. That Brigitte Macron has a wiener. Okay? Not lying, used to be a man. It's gotten to the point where they've sued. In fact, it got to the point so bad that Trump called her and said, hey, you need to knock it off. I'm trying to negotiate a bunch of stuff over here, Ukraine, et cetera, et cetera. And she said, I will for a while. They finally sued her. So this is all going down. They announced today in France that she is going to provide photographs of her hoo-ha as well as like a gynecologist certifying that the hoo-ha is a hoo-ha that's real.
You're kidding.
Nope. That's where we are in this world.
Oh, my.
Photographic evidence. Oh, I don't. How did we get here?
How are
Because they're suing them for her for a ton of money. And the way they've gone about it is they've looked at when her channel went from, I don't know, like 2 million to like 6 million. And so much of it was during this time. So they're coming hard for her. And I'm just, the fact that we're even having this conversation, first of all, let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Brigitte was called Bob at one time.
So what?
So what? They're grown-ups. They're French. They have nothing to do with us. What is it? Like, here's the deal. If she proves that she had a wiener at one time and used to be Bob, does the war in Ukraine end?
Well, it might end a couple days early. Nobody wants to see that.
Oh, God.
Goodness.
Bell goes, is she really? What's it say, Bell? Photographic evidence. Doctors and stuff.
So, if you were never called Bob,
Yeah.
do you go to these lengths to prove it?
Well,
Or do you just say what you will, man? I mean, I don't get it.
And all this stemmed from, there was a lawsuit by the Macrons over somebody over there who accused them of the same thing, of which one of the people was a medium. Like, it came to them in a medium moment of, clairvoyance. And that ended up going to court, which they won. And then the court threw it out because the court said, yeah, even though it's not true, they didn't benefit from saying it. It's not like they profited off of it.
Right.
So, and that was kind of the big deal, where over here, this is, there's a chance. And I'm sure she's probably nervous, because what if? And does she get to go? Do you send a representative to go look at the hooey?
Can you imagine being the judge in that case?
Yeah, what if it goes to trial?
The vagine?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my Lord. That's our world we live in. We're bringing back dinosaurs because we've never seen a movie not really done, but dinosaurs, they're just a different animal. And we're going to probably have photographic evidence of the
First Lady of France's
vagine.
Goodness.
Is it vagine?
What if they just, cut it out of a magazine and say, there it is, see?
Oh, goodness, man.
Well, that's good enough for me. The judge.
Yeah, being a judge. Like, how do you even...
Judge, let me get a closer look at that.
It's so bizarre. The whole thing's... there's a lot more to it, but just the fact that this is going on, that they're having this kind of conversation, that there's lawsuits, and how do we get here? When do the aliens show up and just put an end to this ride?
Social media.
Yeah, social media. This is not... I don't know who thought of this. Bad idea. Bad idea to let crazies all talk to each other. It used to be they had to search each other out. We could see them. Now it's a click away. Oh, my goodness. Oh, they go to the people's court. Oh, that'd be great. Doom, Judge Wapner. Talk about a Wapner.
Man, what if Judge Joe Brown was to take... Well, I think... Wait a minute. Did he pass away?
No.
If he did, God
What about
rest
Judge
his soul.
Judy?
Judge Judy? Well, is she still going or is she retired?
No, she's got another show now.
She actually, they stopped Judge. They got rid of Judge Judy, and she went on to to do another show that's basically the exact same format that she owns fully.
Yeah. Because
Judge Greg Mathis.
Yeah, she was the highest paid TV star.
Yeah, she
for
was
a long
getting
time.
$41 million a year.
Think about that, kids. $41 million. That's why it pays to maybe go to law school, because there's also places where you don't have to go to law school to be a judge. So there's that.
Man.
Welcome to the world we live in, kids.
By the way, Judge Joe Brown's still alive, 78 years old.
Right on, Judge.
And I'm happy about that.
I like Judge Joe Brown. He's
I do
funny.
too.
Coming up, we will talk a little bit about Kimmel and all of this stuff. We'll get your thoughts on that. Bunch of other stuff still to get to. It's not just about Kimmel. There's some other great news coming out in the television world we will discuss as well. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 997.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, taking over as CEO and chair of Turning Point USA. The organization releasing a statement today. It comes 6 days after she addressed the nation on Friday, 2 days after the assassination of her husband.
If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea.
Homeland Security has designated Kirk's funeral in Arizona this Sunday as a Level 1 event. That's the same security designation that the Super Bowl gets. And President Trump at a joint news conference with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer today, capping his state visit to the UK. The president was asked about ABC's announcement that Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings.
Reports say the decline in ratings, a significant drop to 1.1 million viewers in September. And his show was placed third in late night behind The Tonight Show, which contributed to ABC's decision. And after jumping to their highest level in nearly 4 years to start the month, initial filings for jobless benefits dropped back last week.
Weekly jobless filings are an indicator of the health of the overall job market and surged to 263,000 2 weeks ago. In the latest reading, the figure has fallen back to 231,000. The less volatile 4-week moving average finds around 240,000 applications for unemployment benefits every week for the past month.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. And the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
All right, guys. USS, United Structural System. You got something going on that you don't know about. You got those cracks, right? Next thing you know, you got a few things dripping down there. Stuff starts to go a little bit wrong. Maybe it's a lot more. They got some standing water in your basement. You got things that you just can't see. You're not quite sure, but you need to take care of, because next thing you know, wood rot, mold, maybe even structural repair. USS is going to come out absolutely free, give you a full inspection to make sure that everything's okay. They're not going to sell you anything you don't need. They're there to help. 30 years in business, and they guarantee the best. So if you're worried about the what if, foundation, anything that you're looking out there, maybe your yard's sloped a little bit and water runs a certain way, and you're not quite sure, you've had a lot of this, but you can't see where it goes from certain areas, have that checked before it gets too bad. Call 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or check them out online at USSTN.com. I don't know if you're looking at all of the stuff flying in on the hoo-ha. Hoo-ha gate. Hoo-ha.
Wasn't that a show back in the 70s?
That was hee-ha, a little different. That's in another dimension. We're going to go there and like, come on over. We're going to watch hoo-ha.
No, I'm not.
You're like, well, hold on a second. What's that? Yeah, but oh, goodness. The stuff that's flying in from you guys about that. And some of you are going, are you being serious? Bell, am I being serious?
Totally.
That's the crazy.
100%.
How do you, if the aliens come down here and they're like, we would like to ask you questions. Hold on a second. We're watching the big case to find out if the French president has a wiener or not. She says she doesn't, but this lady over here says she does.
Oh, my goodness.
They'll be like, we are going to leave now. Oh, Lord. What do you win? I mean, you know, that's just it. It's like, we got to do better, people. I almost want to see if we can. This is what the Lord, they probably had, back in Noah's day, probably had social media. They're like, we're going to try this maybe once. Stuff went south. We're like, we can't do it anymore. It's coming. It's coming. So, Kimmel. First of all, I'm going to say this. I knew Jimmy way back when, long before Man Show. So I was at a station, KRS 101, Los Angeles, and we had bought their station, which was called K-Rock. He was the morning show sports guy. So Jimmy the sports guy. In fact, Jimmy the sports guy didn't even have a sidekick yet, which was Adam Carolla. And Adam just showed up one day and snuck into the place, was going to teach Jimmy how to box. That's the kind of long. He became something way different. And then as he got further into Hollywood, it's a hatred of Trump that is it is Trump derangement syndrome. He lives in this world now that is completely different than he used to be and who he used to be. Because if you watch The Man Show, I mean, juxtapose those two together. Have you ever seen The Man Show?
Oh, yeah, I used to watch it.
Yeah, well, of course, because they had girls with big boobs on and hoo-has on trampolines.
Jumping up and down on trampolines.
Never get away with that these days.
No.
He used to do Carl Malone. Carl Malone liked to take basketball, put it in hoop, then go down and get his paycheck inside of the mailbox, because that's what Carl Malone sounded like. So he became something different. And then he got into Hollywood deeper. And then it was just wackadoo land. So Trump derangement syndrome, absolutely real. Is what he said the worst thing I've ever seen? No, because there were people all over the place who were doing it 1,000 things worse. The problem is he lied. That was the big deal. He lied. He knew it, that this guy wasn't some MAGA, red hat wearing, white supremacist. But he still went out and he said this.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
And that's what he was trying to do. He's playing to his audience, which is small. By the way, all of their audiences are small.
Yeah, because they've alienated half the country.
And because the other half, even half the country that they would like to watch them, don't. Right. Because nobody watches. Who stays up and watches late night TV?
That's what I was telling my wife. I said, late night TV ratings are going away because people they're watching who they want on social media. You've got entertainers on social media with hundreds of millions of viewers.
I watched, who was it the other day? Mr. Beast goes, hey, guys, it's me, Mr. Beast. I just got my 400 millionth subscriber.
Yes.
400 million subs.
And wasn't Kimmel making like 16 million a year or something like that?
Yeah. That was it.
And
for what? $1.5 million? He's not even, by the way, Colbert has a bigger audience than Jimmy does.
Yeah, Kimmel was third. Like as of September, he was third.
This to me, when Nexstar, which was the TV company that pulled him off of all of their ABC affiliates, which started this, when they did that, I think ABC looked at it and goes, well, this bleeding wound has to stop.
But here's the thing with Nexstar, for you guys don't know. Remember when Trump got that nice little payoff from CBS, Paramount back in the day? So why? Because the FCC was never going to greenlight anything until they had taken care of that issue. And they did, and then Paramount got to go to the hands of Ellison. Nexstar they have the most TV stations in the country. And if you know anything about the broadcasting industry, to try to slow down monopolies, they limit you to certain things. Nexstar is trying to buy Tegna, which has Nexstar's, most of their stations are small and medium. Tegna has big stations, Dallas and all over. And guess what? They're already tapped out. They can't go any further. But the chairman of the FCC thinks that could be antiquated. We may have to make some changes, so we'll see. So it's more than just this situation where everybody's like, oh, I mean, yeah, getting rid of Kimmel, get rid of them all. Nobody watches late night TV. Nobody does. Because we're fragmented. People watch television when they watch it on their phones, the younger generation. They're certainly not tuning into Jimmy Kimmel. They're watching TikToks.
Yeah, I think ABC, just like CBS, this is what was going to happen to Colbert and Kimmel anyway.
Yeah.
This just allowed them to do it faster.
Yeah. But as Bell said, you can't say stuff like this. So this is the FCC chair Carr.
Oh, yeah.
Talking.
In some quarters, there's a very concerted effort to try to lie to the American people about the nature, as you indicate, of one of the most significant, newsworthy public interest acts that we've seen in a long time. And what appears to be an action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person. If that's what happened here with his conduct, that is really, really sick. I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. We
could do this the easy way or the hard way. They called them and said, you better figure something out. And Sinclair, who, by the way, is also the same group that, do you remember when Sinclair had to everybody had to read the same thing?
Oh, yeah. They put out that, what was it, a promo?
A promo.
And there's actually videos on YouTube of all their stations. It's like a collage video, and all of these different newscasters are reading the same script at the same time.
Yes, and they're to the right. So you've got one group that wants them to change the rules at the FCC and allow them to buy Tegna for $6.2 billion. They're getting rid of Kimmel. Anything to smooth it over. And if you don't think this is a big deal, the Democrats toyed around when Biden was in office that, hey, talk radio is extremely right-wing. Maybe we need to have some fairness doctrine where we start breaking the stations up and making sure there's a balance everywhere. Oh,
yep.
That's the issue. Because if you think it stops here, flash forward 10 years, and then it's, President Bernie Sanders, because he's still alive. No, or somebody, Gorman out and another guy said, like, AOC, and she decides something like that. Or you've got to think about what are the repercussions, because Trump, not only did he say how horrible he was and all that stuff, he also came out and said, Jimmy and Seth, you're next. We don't want that. I don't want the government involved. You want to fire somebody for being awful, ABC? Come out and say it.
Yeah.
Have the cojones to go, look, dude, it's partly you, and it's also partly this is a medium that nobody cares about unless it's sports. That's it. Nobody watches this anymore unless it's sports. So we're moving on, and that's that. Come out and have the cojones. But if the government is saying, we could do this the easy way or the hard way, That's a suggestion. No, that's the kind of mob suggestion. Would you like the silver? Would you like the lead? And we want to make sure our government stays out of that. We want that. Jimmy he's awful. He's not funny. By the way, he was never a stand-up comic. He's just not funny. But when I look at this, it should worry people. It should absolutely worry people. Because they go, oh, this might be a little, this isn't you got fired because you're crap. We already know he was crap. He wasn't any good. Nobody's watching it. I mean, he's behind Jimmy Fallon. By the way, I've seen Jimmy a couple times. I don't even think he talks much about politics. Mostly it's to people in the Midwest, and he does dances and sings songs.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch Jimmy regularly. It's been years ago because I loved him on Saturday Night Live.
And he's so funny.
I thought he was very funny, and I never saw anything political from
No, he
him.
did some, but, no more than a Johnny Carson would have done.
Right.
He actually had Trump on one time where Trump let him mess his hair up.
Yeah, and by the way, 2016, go look it up. Kimmel and Trump were together. He came on that show. And yeah, Jimmy lost his mind. He's got Trump derangement syndrome. But the bigger issue is, should government be able to put pressure in such a way where they're deciding, oh, we don't want this here? And then you've got companies out there that most people aren't even talking about where they're trying to get stuff through. And hey, this is going to look great. This is extra credit. What do you think is going to happen now? They'll change the rules so these guys can do more than anybody else has? Let's be fair. And everybody's going to be like, well, what about this? What about that? Remember, like Fox News and all that stuff, that's all different. The FCC really only has technical kind of oversight when it comes to certain things. They don't have any kind of programming. You can't come after because it's not the airwaves like it is here. You're not licensed in that kind of way. I mean, nobody was calling for, a few people were. Brian Kilmeade last week, if you guys didn't hear, he suggested, why don't we just euthanize the homeless? And then he came out and apologized the next day, but it got lost because it was kind of the same day that what happened with Charlie.
Did he really say that?
Oh, my God. We'll play it when we come back. I've got it. It is. It is crazy. We'll talk about
Goodness.
that. I know, right? Just crazy. But I don't care that Kimmel's gone. I never thought he was funny, but I do worry about the fact that you've got the FCC guy going, you guys better do something or else, because they're not always going to be the right-leaning FCC. So think about that. If you're missing the show, shame. Grab the podcast. Chad Ben Show. Super Talk 997. Bulwark Capital, my friends over there, want to invite you to join them. They're doing a live webinar, and it is amazing, and it's called Back to Basics. It's 5:30, October 2nd. It is free, and they're going to talk about the basics, the fundamentals of value investing, perspective and outlook on the remainder of this year, plus what it is that they do at Bulwark. Lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility. They're up some 27% or something for the year over where the market is itself being up. So think about that. And the way they do it is they're value investing, but they do it in a global way. They're active managers. They're always looking everywhere. And that's something that is incredible. So this is what I want you to do. Sign up today. It's absolutely free. Go to knowyourriskpodcast.com. That's knowyourriskpodcast.com, KNOW, yourriskpodcast.com. Super free, 30 minutes. It's October 2nd. That's a Thursday at 5:30. Knowyourriskpodcast.com for Bulwark Capital Management. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC, and SEC registered investment advisor. Investment fall risk, not a guarantee. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Check 25298.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Turning Point USA has announced its new CEO and chair. We'll let you hear from her coming up at 1 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yes, Brian Kilmeade did say what I said he said.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
That was said by a Fox News guy. Involuntary lethal injection, just kill him. And because of what happened to Charlie, that went away quietly. Nary a word from anybody on the right. He realized, I shouldn't say that. He comes out and he apologized for it. But think about it. I mean, I was upset about what happened on the train. Okay, I get that. You're talking about the way you said it, though, is just kill him. I mean, come on.
Basically just put mentally ill people under one umbrella.
Yeah. What about the vets?
Is there such a thing as voluntary lethal injection?
Yeah, I think that's up in Canada, right?
Oh.
Isn't that what they're doing?
Okay.
They allow those people to...
I mean, I get he was probably speaking from emotion because, that case is horrific, but that's...
To lump that into, like, well, if you're not going to take treatment because you're mentally ill for whatever reason, or you've got an addiction, well, we're just going to kill you. That is, come on, right? But the hypocrisy of everybody running around go, no, it's totally different. It's because of this, because... No, let's be real on something. That is just kill him. That's a tough one.
Little heinous there.
Little heinous. And I like Brian. Brian's a very nice guy. And again, it was an emotion thing, but that you got to do better, as we all know. And I never once called for him to be fired. Never once. Some people did, but because of Charlie, it went away. It just never got any traction.
Yeah, and I mean, he can say what he wants.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But if the government came down and said, you guys better figure something else or else, that'd be not a good thing, right? Nobody'd like that.
Right.
There you go. All right, coming up, hour number 2, more good stories on the way because we're doing good stories today. If you miss any show, grab the podcast. Chad Ben Show, Super Talk 97.
One o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Turning Point USA has named Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, as its new CEO and chair just 7 days after his murder. And here she is on Friday in that primetime address to the world.
My husband laid down his life for me, for our nation, for our children. He showed the ultimate and true covenantal love.
Turning Point USA releasing a statement reading, "May God bless Erica, the Kirk family, and the entire team at Turning Point USA." Meanwhile,
Homeland Security has designated Kirk's funeral in Arizona this Sunday as a Level 1 event. That's the same security designation that the Super Bowl gets. The stadium can fit more than 70,000 people, but officials predict up to 100,000 may show up, with President Trump and Vice President Vance among the speakers.
That's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio in Washington. President Trump at a joint news conference with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer today, capping his state visit. The president was asked about ABC's announcement that Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel's September average did see a significant drop to 1.1 million viewers. It placed third in late night behind The Tonight Show. President Trump saying he's designating Antifa a major terrorist organization. In a social media post, he calls Antifa a, quote, sick, dangerous, radical left disaster, and says he's recommending those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated. Here's Catherine Falders.
It's actually not immediately clear how such a designation would be made for Antifa. Antifa is an umbrella description for a far-leaning militant groups opposing fascists and neo-Nazis. So it's really not clear exactly how the government will do this. Of course, Antifa does not have a publicly known centralized structure or leadership here.
An investigation's progressing into a popular singer known as David. Earlier this month, a decomposed body found in the front trunk of a Tesla registered to him, real name David Burke. ABC's Alex Stone has the latest from Los Angeles.
The LAPD has now searched a Hollywood Hills home where sources tell us the singer David was living. Nearby was where his abandoned Tesla was found with human remains in the front trunk. Those remains have now been identified as belonging to 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, who had been reported missing over a year ago from Riverside County. The medical examiner has yet to be able to identify how Rivas died. LAPD sources telling ABC News that is critical to know to find out if it was murder or something else. They also want to know if David had a relationship with the missing teenager. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Yeah. Some of you are still chiming in about Kilmeade and what he said, and several of you are like, yeah, let it kill all the homeless. Let God sort them out. Think about what you're saying there. I mean, that is insane to think that's like your go-to. I mean, some of these people are mentally ill. Some of these people, let's not forget, fought for our nation, and we have done such a phenomenal bang-up job of taking care of them as they sleep on the streets. But you're cool because you don't want it on your street. You don't want to know about it. Yeah, no. I don't think, to me, that's just the thought process of that. And I know Brian Kilmeade, he said it. He was emotional somewhat. But, you know, for anybody out there to echo, yeah, go ahead and kill them all, is just insane. It is. People they'll bend over backward to try to make sure that their point of view is like, oh, yeah, this is it, or try to fit it into whatever it is that they think they need. And we make mistakes, but come on. That's we got to do better. Got to do better, baby. Absolutely. All right, guys. So last hour we talked about some crazy stuff. If you guys are aware of this, there is a situation where Macron's wife may have to show her bits so a lawsuit could be settled. I'm not lying. It didn't make it up. It's a real thing. Photographs, doctor's evidence, all kinds of stuff. With all of that going on in the world, Kimmel, happened to Charlie Kirk. Finally, just some good news.
Big news coming out of Colossal on the Dodo project today. So they announced that for the first time ever, scientists have successfully grown pigeon primordial germ cells, which is a major breakthrough for bird gene editing. So what they've done is they've created special gene-edited chickens that can actually lay eggs from edited cells. So Colossal now has a Nicobar pigeon, which is the closest living relative of the dodo bird, breeding colony in Texas, and they've already edited pigeon cells with dodo DNA in them. Now, with Colossal being valued over $10 billion, having that kind of money behind something in conservation, it's like there's nothing they can't do in de-extinction. It's so exciting, and this announcement is moving us one step closer to bringing back the dodo.
We're doing it, guys. We're bringing back the dodo.
That sure is a pretty pigeon.
That is, right? That's a nice-looking pigeon.
That is a beautiful pigeon.
So that's the one that's the closest to it. And so now that they've got, I guess, the DNA and everything they need, that thing could then carry it. And then we'll see what it looks like. So these things are huge. They're
the dodo birds?
Yeah. Yeah, they're a big bird.
I would not want to get bit by one of them because that beak looks like it could take a finger off.
Yeah.
Easily.
So you've got that. They've got the Momo bird they're working on. That one they actually, in Australia, that was hunted to extinction. So they're doing two different kind of birds, the moa bird. So the dodo, but the moa bird gets up to 12 feet. That's a big bird.
That's a big bird.
Is it yellow?
It is not.
Oh.
It's just not. It's a big bird right there. No, it's not yellow.
Will it stomp you if it gets mad at you?
Like the cassowary?
Like if you try to take a selfie with it?
Oh, God. You know there will be people that do that. The minute it gets out there, there's a chance. If you guys know what a cassowary is, that's kind of like a dinosaurish bird that we really have. That's kind of where you look at. Think of it as the worst, it's the most dangerous bird on the planet.
It's the equivalent of a bird velociraptor because it will split you open and your guts will spill out.
That's what they have, that hook on their legs. They have like a talon that does that. That's where they took a portion of that.
That's like what a kangaroo will do to you.
Yes. So, and they have one here when you go to the zoo, which is cool. These cassowaries are awesome. But you look at them and you just look down at their feet and you're like, nope. It's not a dodo bird. It's not a big fluffy bird. It's not something cuddly. It looks at you like, yeah, I could cut you in half. What would you think of that?
Man.
But they're going to do it, man. And I get excited. Then I think to myself, oh, yeah, I forgot. We shouldn't bring things back. But I'm excited about it.
Even if we caused them to go extinct?
Yeah, this is a different one. The only one I really want to see if they can do is the thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger. That's the one I really want to, I think they can do.
I'd like to have a teacup mastodon.
Probability-wise, the thylacine's not extinct.
There's a chance that it's not. In fact, there's a Japanese fox that they thought was extinct, but they've gotten two pictures now that they're pretty sure that in a certain area of Japan, there is a small group that's still alive, and that thing's supposed to have been extinct for a long time. And the DNA they've collected from something has nothing to do with wolves that normally would see, or even European wolves. But the thylacine, there's been enough pictures and some photos of stuff that you would think there's a chance. But if they could bring that back, how awesome would that be? That would be the coolest thing. I'd love that. Absolutely. I mean, if you've never seen a Tasmanian tiger, it's like somebody goes, hey, look, you're going to look kind of like a dog, and then we're going to look kind of like a cat.
Kind of like a tiger.
Kind of a little bit like a tiger.
Got stripes.
Yeah, a little bit of a, little bit of a fox. You're going to look like all the things. all of the things. 10 billion. When we started talking about Colossal, they had just got enough money to do some of these things. And remember, Peter Jackson, a lot of these people, they put money into this thing. They're with the dire wolves in this now. I mean, what a great time to be alive. I mean, despite the fact that AI, and could you imagine?
What a great time to be extinct.
There's also that part too. But could you imagine if AI rises up, but luckily for us, the dire wolves and the dodo birds team up to fight AI? What a great story that'd be.
I think that's the next Terminator movie.
Super great. I'll be doing the two. I love how like you gonna do another Terminator? I don't know, Terminator. I'll be back, but slower. I've got an enlarged prostate. What's wrong with my Terminator? He's broke. Somebody just asked, are they really going to take pictures of the French president's wives? Yes, they are.
Oh, my gosh, what story?
They are. They are.
How old is she again?
She's way older than him because she was his teacher, if I'm correct. Yeah, I think she's 65.
And he's like in his early 40s.
Yeah, yeah.
I just remembered when she clocked him as he was standing in the door of that jet.
Yeah, she smashed his face.
And then he realizes he's in the open and he just smiles and waves.
So here's the headline on the New York Post. Brigitte Macron to present scientific and photographic evidence in U.S. court.
Goodness.
Oh, goodness me. I wonder how much they're suing her for. You know what? She's got to be, you wonder how nervous she is. Oh God, she is much older. I thought she was in her 60s. I think she's in her 70s.
How old is Macron? Is he like in his 50s?
No, I think he's in his, no. Macron. Yeah, she is. Yeah, he's in like his 40s. And so, yeah, she's 60. She's almost 60. So, and he is like, they met when he was 15. She was, well, hold on a second. No, wait, hold on a second. They met when she was 39 and he was 15. Who's that?
Cougar.
More than a cougar now. She's a dodo. He's 47, says my buddy. She's 72. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. 72. That judge is going to have to look at a 72-year-old hoo-ha.
Like
a French hoo-ha.
May, December, but he's the May.
Yeah, May, December. And by the way, it's a different kind of December. It's a long way away December.
Oh, man. What?
How did we get here? How in God's name did we get here? I have no idea. 72 years old. Good goodness. That is just crazy. And the fact that they're going to go through scientific effort. What are they going to bring in a doctor? And he's going to go, that's a vagine. Bring in a sketch artist. Does it look like this?
Goodness.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, that is...
They have got to be just absolutely over the moon livid with Candace for them to be willing to go this far.
Well, it has been a big story in France and a nightmare, among all the other stuff that's going on in his world. He's worried. His government collapses every 3 weeks because of a vagine. Oh, goodness me. How did we get here? I don't know. It's somebody says she's not a cougar, she's a saber-tooth. She's a Mayan calendar December.
Our listeners are just as bent as we are,
absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely. Oh, my God. Talking about that cassowary, the big bird, somebody said it's an assault ostrich. We need to cassowary control. Oh, my goodness. I can't even, the whole thing is just, how do you even, What? How did we get here where the president of another country has to bring his wife over who's 72 because one of our podcasters thinks that she used to have a wiener?
And if it does go to trial, will they have to be in the courtroom?
Oh, I hope so. I want all of it. I want it to be live on TV. We're going to cover the whole thing. Bell's going to be like, I'm broadcasting from the courtroom, and they just presented the vagine.
I'm starting to get physically ill. I may not be able to hang on.
And somebody said, what if she has a grundle? Well, then that would be also shocking. Wouldn't it? Either way, it's happening.
Oh, man.
Oh, goodness me. Jiminy Cricket. That was... That's where we are, kids. Welcome to America. And for whatever reason, this became a big... My wife followed this thing. She watched the documentary about it. I'll get home and she's like, let me tell you what... I'm like, I don't want to know because it doesn't matter.
Candace fits in the same box that AOC does for me. She should be seen and not heard.
Yeah. Well, like,
because they're just both nuts.
Yeah, like what's the new thing, right? You know, she thinks that the Jews killed Charlie Kirk.
Oh, is she the one saying that?
Yeah, she's the one that's like that's big for her. Her and Tucker believe that they had something to do with Charlie Kirk's. Like, what is it?
It's so ridiculous. I mean, I don't think BB's crying over it, but that's just a stupidity.
Yeah. It's that is how I'm always fascinated by the conspiracy thing, because I think the conspiracy thing, there are people out there who think they know everything a little bit better than, like, they're in a room and like, I know more than you guys. You guys just don't get it.
I just need to hip you to my personal wisdom.
Yeah. So you remember that time? Like, because everything is everything is a conspiracy. Doesn't matter what it is, including whether or not she has a twigs and berries, or whether or not the Israelis killed Charlie Kirk. Like, everything's a conspiracy. Everything. I'm fascinated by, like, how do you get that? I couldn't even imagine. Like, to try to connect the dots, the amount of twister you would have to do. And you'd have to be like that dude from the Fantastic Four. What's his name?
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic? Yeah.
Reed Richards.
Yeah, that guy. You'd have to be like him to do this. But alas, here we are. All right, coming up, we've got some more good news coming up a little bit. We got a little bit more on Kimmel. Coming up at 2 o'clock, who do we have there, Bell?
Representative Gino Bulso, who is running for Mark Green's seat that he resigned from, 7th District.
That's right. He's going to join the program, and you guys know what to do. Get your questions ready. All right? Get them ready, because this is going to be interesting. We're going to fight with him. If you're missing the show, grab the podcast, the Chad Benson Show. Relief Factor is amazing. My wife and I both take it. It's incredible. You can take it every single day. It's naturally formulated. It's got all this great stuff in there, right? Like these omega-3 fatty acids and all this stuff, resveratrol and stuff I can't pronounce, and I've screwed up if I tried. But what you do with this is about, as you get older, you're working out more, you're doing more, things start to hurt. Those muscles, man, they stay hurt a lot longer. This is going to help you with that in a major way. You're going to recover faster. You're going to feel the same. You're going to feel way better. You're going to feel like you got a new lease on life. That's what I love about Relief Factor. I play a lot of pickleball. I work out in the morning. And I tell you what, I don't hurt. And when you're not hurting, you can do more. Because a lot of times you start working out, right? And you're like, oh, I worked out hard today. I won't be able to walk right until Thursday. And then you get frustrated. Now imagine just feeling great every single day. That's what Relief Factor does. So they have a 3-week quick start. It's only $19.95. So less than a cup of coffee a day. This is what I want you to do. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. You're going to really just go there, get this. It's You can take it every single day, and it's only $19.95. Think about feeling 1,000 times better with those aches and pains, no matter how small they are. They eventually just subside, and you're just living a new life. That's what it does for you. ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. 800, the number 4, RELIEF.
Turning Point USA announces a new leader. You're going to hear from her. Trump wants Antifa designated a terrorist organization, and a massive SUV recall coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
If I was Trump, I wouldn't go down the terrorist organization. I would go crime. I was looking up. I talked to my buddy Barry, he's a lawyer out in Arizona and stuff, and well, he's a bit of a lefty. Mostly he doesn't like Trump, but he is super constitutional, just a brilliant guy. He and I were chatting, and he said, if I was going to do it, I'd do more crime, because you can do a lot more at a level that's easier than trying to do the terrorist thing. And you got to be careful when you lump people into certain things, because what they're going to want to do is just drag people off the street. And they've done that in several places where they tried to say anybody who stays out after 7 o'clock on these, on the Summer of Love or 8 o'clock, we're going to consider you a gangster. Well, that didn't work well, because then these people weren't gangsters. So you got to be careful. But if you start lumping them in, you can go after their money in a much different way, especially with the RICO stuff.
Talking about designating them as a criminal organization?
Yeah, more of a criminal, like
the mob.
Yeah. That's a much easier thing to do, and go after them, because you can. I think you can affect the money chain and it's then rather than, because let's be real, once the money's gone, everybody leaves. That's it. They pretend that they're fascist and they're communist and they're anti-fascist and communist. They're capitalist. They're not showing up for free.
Yeah, once those paychecks dry up, they won't be out there.
Yeah, once one of them has to go to Kinko's or wherever. They still have a Kinko's? Did I just make that up?
I don't know.
But once one of them has to go to a Kinko's and pay, $200 to get their 1,000 flyers to hand out, and they're like, I'm not paying for that. Well, then guess what happens? They change their tune.
Where's our protective gear? We don't have any anymore. Oh, I'm going home.
It's like watching a bad version of The Purge.
Yeah.
When you see him out there. I just remember, you remember that guy? You remember that video where that guy, they're all standing there yelling at each other, and there was like the, I don't know, Proud Boy type people. I don't know who. They're just old. And that dude went to throw a punch, and that other guy just grabbed his hand.
Yes.
And just kind of looked at him. And it's like, uh-oh, this could get real fast. But they're LARPing as tough guys and gals. That's what they're doing. They're LARPing around as if they're going to do something crazy, and they're not. They're not. So go after their money. Go hit them where it hurts. Remember, they didn't get Capone for all of the horrible things. They got him for tax evasion.
That's true.
Guy never went to jail for murder or any of that other stuff. They got him for tax evasion. And you can go after them in a way, I think, as a criminal organization that's better than going after them as a designated terror organization. Because you throw that wide swath and you start arresting people in certain ways, and the next thing you know, you got constitutional issues. Then you start losing, in courts, and then you got to start paying people off. Where I think in the criminal side of stuff, you're going to be more selective in the. It's not going to be just a wide swath of arresting people, which is good. All right, coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more. We got a little bit more about Kimmel, but it came out today. I would be lying if I didn't say I led my third hour off of my national show and spent like 10 minutes on this because it deserves it. I could do a whole day on this. Ken, you're going to love this as well. We're going to talk about that, a bunch of other stuff. And again, send your questions in. Gino Bulso is going to be here at 2 o'clock. We're going to want your questions. All right. We want to know what you guys want us to ask him and what's important to you. A lot of you, pot is a big deal. But we want to know what you guys think. And you got several of you have sent some stuff in. So feel free to text the program. Let us know what you want to ask him. He'll be in here at 2 o'clock. If you're missing the show, shame on you. Grab the podcast. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Charlie Kirk's widow has been announced as Turning Point USA's next CEO and chair. This was Erica Kirk on Friday, addressing the nation just 2 days after her husband's assassination.
My heart is with every one of my husband's employees who lost a friend and a mentor.
The organization releasing a statement reading, "May God bless Erica, the Kirk family, and the entire team at Turning Point USA." President Trump saying he's designating Antifa a major terrorist organization. In a social media post, he calls Antifa a, quote, sick, dangerous, radical left disaster. Says he's recommending those funding them be thoroughly investigated. Here's ABC News, Washington Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Falders.
It's really not clear exactly how the government will do this. Of course, Antifa does not have a publicly known centralized structure or leadership here. So, of course, you see the president's post in which says he is designating them as a major terrorist organization. But again, it's unclear exactly how he is going to follow through on that, given there is no centralized structure or leadership with this ideology, if you will.
Trump considered classifying Antifa as a terrorist organization in his first term, but his FBI director at the time testified Antifa is an ideology, not an organization. Hyundai is recalling more than 500,000 SUVs.
Over 568,000 2020 to 2025 Hyundai Palisade SUV models are being recalled because a seatbelt buckles might fail to latch properly. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the defect increases the risk of an injury if the occupant is not actually buckled in but believes that they are seatbelted in. The recall covers buckles in the driver's seat, passenger seat, and second row window seats. Owners might notice a lighter than normal click when fastening their seatbelts. Dealers will replace the seatbelt assemblies for free. Alex Stone, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
All right, guys. Contours LLC, Cool Springs. During September, when you buy the Belly Buster package, you get this is a non-invasive package, right? So there's no surgery, none of that stuff. The belly will melt away, right? The moobs, right? Right? Your back fat, all that stuff going away. But on top of that, with our good friends over at Contours, when you do that, they're going to give you for free, normally $1,500, FDA cleared, amazing, incredible facial package. Oh, it is awesome. It's like it's a non-invasive facelift package. This is not one of those things where you go in and they put some lemon on your eyes and go, oh, you look so nice. No. This is FDA. This is 6 treatments. These $1,500 for this. You get it for free when you do the Belly Buster package. And here's the other great thing. They guarantee you, when you go in and you try it, $99. If you don't lose 2 inches guaranteed around your chest and your belly, you don't pay a thing. I've done it. Dan's done it. My shirts fit better. You're going to, once you do it the first time, you're going to go, my pants, they feel looser. It's incredible. Just in time for the holidays, too. So this is what I want to do. Call them today, 615-236-9960. It's Contours, 615-236-9960. Or visit them online at ContoursLLC.com. Contours LLC. What do you got to lose? Butt inches and wrinkles. Adam in the Borough. Besides, Antifa has very little role in today's protests, even less in organizing them. I mean, it's a good boogeyman. It is. It's good. It's a good boogeyman. It's a thought. Like you can't get rid of a thought, even if it's a crappy thought, right? Like you're not going to be able to get rid of that. It takes a while, and these kids have to grow up, and it's stupid. And somebody does fund some of these people. And some of them go there because they think there's chicks there and they're going to hey, what's up, baby? After we get tear gas, you want to go over to Denny's and get some coffee? That kind of thing.
Power to the people. Now give me some sugar.
Want to share a facial bandana?
That's right. A facial bandana. Somebody said, what if, I didn't even think of this, guys. Okay. Now somebody came out of nowhere, 6707. We're talking about Brigitte Macron, who is in so this is the first lady of France. They're in a big lawsuit with Candace Owens. Yes, that Candace Owens. There's been a battle between them going on. There's a documentary, like a 3-part series about her being a man. And so there's this thing where apparently in the lawsuit, they're going to have medical proof as well as photographic evidence. So, but this guy, or gal. My father was a veterinarian. I've seen puppies born hermaphrodites. The surgery was done and healed. You would never know that the sex was surgically determined. Oh, what if? That's an interesting thing. I mean, I don't think so. But you never know. You never know. Ken, I know you're going to take joy in this. It's one of my favorite days of the year.
What's that?
I woke up this morning, knew exactly what this was going to be all about. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready for it.
Let's make some Christmas magic!
Here we go. Hallmark's Countdown to Christmas is back Friday, October 17th.
Oh. I don't think you guys realize how excited I am. Are you ready for the schedule? Because I got it.
Yeah, give us the titles.
First of all, we can all pretend that we don't like these movies, yet all of us love these movies.
They feel good.
They do. They feel good. Okay. Starting on the 17th, they've got a new series, Mistletoe Murders. Oh. But then we get serious, guys. A Royal Montana Christmas. Oh! So this is what I think happens in there. I haven't seen the trailer for it. She's a single mom. She runs an Airbnb in a small coffee shop. Stuck there is the prince, the king, and the queen of Tinselandia or somewhere, right? So, and he is going to fall in love with her. And the king is going to have no part of it. But he doesn't have a choice because the queen's going to step up and say, you got to let Philippe or whatever his name's going to be fall in love. Oh, it's going to be good. Next day, Christmas angel match, of course. I mean, some of these names, I want to come up with the names. Tidings for the season. Who would have thought of that? Not me. Not me. I mean, the three wisest men. Oh, goodness.
Starring You, Me, and Belle.
Oh, how great would that be?
Run DMC.
That would be so awesome. She's making a list, which could be a normal dating show as well. An incel for Christmas. Here's one, Finding Mr. Christmas. Okay, so let me tell you what this one is. I have a feeling, I haven't seen it because they're really starting to release them. This one, who does it star? It's got to star. Trying to think, who's the dark hair girl? I always forget her name. That's always in these things. She's in like 20 of them.
Oh, she was in Lost in Space too. I can't remember what she played.
So she's in this.
Penny.
She comes home to save her family's failing jam factory. So the jam is not going well. They're not selling jam the way they used to. They're just the guy that's sweeping up and helping. That is the nephew of Santa Claus. And they fall in love. And he saves the day. Oh, my goodness. The snow must go on.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a doubleheader that night. That's the 28th of November, followed by The More the Merrier. The Christmas Cup. And then Christmas at the Catnip Cafe.
The Christmas Cup.
So
the Catnip Cafe.
So the Catnip Cafe, this is the way I think this one's going to go. It's going to be a girl that rescues cats.
Yes.
And she does it because her place is a non-profit. And she sells just enough espressos to make it work. But she's struggling. Then this guy's a fireman who rescues a cat out of a tree and doesn't know what to do with it and brings it in. But the cat keeps escaping the Catnip Cafe and keeps running over to the fireman. And that's when he realizes, I love that girl. Oh, phenomenal. We're just getting started. I mean, I didn't even ready, set, glow. Ah! You guys know you love it. The Christmas Baby.
Dude, are we going to have to watch these movies and come back and give reviews?
100%. 100%. I'm going to watch them all. It's awesome. 12 days till Christmas. The sweet, SUITE, holiday romance. Let me tell you how this works. They're stuck in a town, and they're trying to get flying from some small little town to another small little town, but there's no way they can do it. And so these two odd couples have to share a suite, and then they get snowed in, and they fall in love. I love this stuff. The Newport Christmas. And then they've got stuff like Baking with Love Holiday, where there's a baking show, which is great. The Grand Old Opry Christmas, which is going to be phenomenal.
How about the Hoo-Ha Christmas?
That one's, the French one. The Hoo-Ha Christmas, the Vagine.
I was going to say it's got Macron in with his wife.
Yeah, he is like, hey, look at this, huh? She does not have mistletoe.
It's a Hoo-Ha Christmas.
Oh, yes, I know. I saw that one with the cup thing when he said it. So you guys are the worst. I'll tell you what.
They're just as bent as we are.
They are. No doubt about that. I want Ken to watch November Christmas and tell me he didn't cry.
November Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah. So that is great. So this is going to be, ready for a Christmas. See how many people. Die Hard. Tell me when Die Hard's on. That is the battle still always, right? Is it a Christmas movie?
There's no battle. It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because he wouldn't have
been there had it not been Christmas.
That's right. And crashing, they got the Christmas tree, the sliding down, the presents, the music. You got to ask the question.
Carl would have gotten away with it.
You can't take a day off from going after bad guys just because it's Christmas.
No, never. Crime doesn't sleep on Christmas. Oh, my God. Is that one of the Hallmark movies? That should be. She falls in love with the person who's robbing her.
I've got an admission about Die Hard. Back in the day, I was convinced that the terrorist that played the night watchman there at the front door.
Yeah.
I was convinced that was Huey Lewis.
No way. Really?
And my friend said, that's not Huey Lewis, man. I said, dude, it looks just like him. And, of course, it wasn't Huey Lewis. But he looked like Huey Lewis.
Oh, my goodness.
I got to look up that actor's name.
That was so that is a Christmas movie. Yeah, I think we go with that. I think we go with the Christmas movie.
Yeah, anybody that says
because he says it's like Willis says it's not a Christmas movie.
Who says that?
Bruce Willis. He said it's not a
What
Christmas.
does he know? He's got dementia.
Oh, that was very mean. Man, he's not doing well. I don't think he's.
I know. It breaks my heart when I see him, photos of him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sweet because his family is around him, and I mean, they're really.
His daughters
showing
are.
love.
Demi is. His wife, though, she didn't want any part of this.
Really?
Yeah. There was a time that she was going to divorce him. This wasn't, she didn't sign up for this. She signed up to be, hanging out with a rich, famous guy that was an actor.
He's actually in a, not a halfway house, but I guess a hospice.
Yeah, I think he's in a hospice. Like a place where, because I don't think he can't, I don't even know if he talks anymore.
No, he can't.
Yeah. I mean, that was, do you remember because you could start to see it in some of the movies where the struggle was coming. And the same thing happened to Dudley Moore. They were going to they fired Dudley Moore off a movie. And because they thought he was an alcoholic. And they said he can't do anything. And then they come to find out that he had kind of the same thing but it was really presenting itself.
Well, I don't know if I don't know how badly it affected Bruce's career, but he did get a reputation toward the end of being undependable and like that he wouldn't memorize his script. And now you look back now and you understand why.
You understand why. Absolutely. By the way, 12/5, that's Friday. 12 dates till Christmas.
You got to go on 12 dates.
Till Christmas. Single on the 25th. This is going to be so awesome. You guys have no idea. Deck the halls on Cherry Lane.
This must be the time of year when the Hallmark Channel just makes most of their money.
This is when there is no other time that they have their, even Christmas in July when they do that, it's big. And then they have their movies around like Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But nothing like this. They make hay here for a month and a half. It's just crazy. I'm pumped for it. I'm excited. I can't wait. I know you guys think we're silly, but Ken and I, like, it's hard not to think that'd be cool to live in a little town where Santa Claus is my neighbor.
Absolutely.
I mean, how awesome would that be?
I'd invite Santa over to watch football.
With your little wiener dogs.
Football. Yeah, with little Fritz.
Little Fritz.
Me and little Fritz. And I'd say, hey, Santa, can you give me 100 wiener dogs for Christmas?
And he'd be like, ho, 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 I sure can, Ken.
As long as you pick up after them, Ken.
Yeah, I don't want you poop in my yard.
Name one of them Macron.
Macron. Give one to her. Got a wiener dog in your pants? You just happy to see me? Oh. You guys are the worst. All right, coming up, getting ready. Gino's here. Bulso, we're going to have him on 2 o'clock. You guys got to get your texts all in. Questions you want to ask. I got some of them, but I need more. So, Bell, tell everybody how they text the program.
615-737-9986.
That's how you do it. And by the way, okay, 2242, stop with that. You don't need to ruin it. They don't sound like porno movies. A little bit. But still, you've ruined it for all of us.
What,
Hey,
the titles of the Hallmark Christmas movies?
come on down to Candy Cane Lane. We're the worst. It is the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. Go there now and save huge. So Raycon has everything that you need for the holidays and to get yourself up and running for the best of the best when it comes to audio and a bunch of other stuff as well. Right now it's 20% off when you go to BuyRaycon.com/Chad. They've got everything from the everyday earbuds we always talk about to the classic earbuds, but they've got so many other things that are incredible, like fast chargers. By the way, the fast chargers are so amazing. When I mean they charge, it's in a second. They've got tons of things like fitness open earbuds. So some people don't, the earbuds, maybe they've got issues with their ears and stuff. My wife, she's got the bone conducting headphones. She loves those things. They're amazing. They've got the everyday headphones. They got gaming phones. They got everything you need right now. Incredible discount, 20% off. You will love these. Great gifts for the holidays. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Save 30%, save 20%, and get a 30-day happiness guarantee. BuyRaycon.com/Chad.
All right, drivers got a crash reported by police 65 northbound near Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, exit 94. Then in Glencliff, 24 westbound at Briley Parkway South. Berry Hill got a grass fire blocking the right lane. TDOT says that's 65 northbound at Armory Drive. It is dry. And then in Antioch, a crash, right shoulder block, 24 eastbound at Harding Place. And on the South Loop, 40 eastbound at 2nd Avenue. And we've got some fallout from ABC canceling Jimmy Kimmel Live on Capitol Hill. We'll tell you about that coming up at 2 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, I think it's the FCC chairman, Ro Kahana. I like Ro, actually. He's a good dude. I was speaking of, because he's up in Northern California, they were going through the most expensive areas in the country to live and stuff that's exploded price-wise, and we weren't even in the top 20 here. The average 2-bedroom, like 2-bath house in San Jose, $1.6 million.
1 bedroom, 2 bath.
Basically.
Wow.
Live in a garage. And I mean, they're people that rent out their garage space because they know they can get a couple grand for it. That's insane. That is. I mean, that is incredible that you would do that. But the same thing in New York. I follow these people that have like tiny apartments in New York. This woman's like, my husband and I, we live in here with our 3 kids. It's 700 square feet, and it cost us $6,500 a month. Whoa.
Well, that's what happens when you regulate yourself right out of, building enough housing.
Mom Donnie's going to fix that. He's going to fix that big time because he's going to get everybody free apartments. So it's going to be it's interesting, though. The stuff with Kimmel, that's not going anywhere. And this is going to be a interesting play here in the next couple days because the FCC chair, what he said, it is, I'm sorry. It's sorry, not sorry as far as Kimmel is what he is. But I, as a person who looks at freedom of speech, and I don't want the government even intimating or threatening or flexing their muscles, because that's not a good place for us to be as a nation. That isn't, because we need to have our speech be free with being encumbered. And they want to get rid of everybody. Nobody watches TV. Nobody. My little brothers and my sisters and my wife, they watch television. They watch movies on TikTok 2 minutes at a time.
He should have just kept his mouth shut and let it play out on its own.
Yeah. What they should have done is go, all right, here's the deal. Jimmy, you're taking the week off. Just, you know what? All the stuff, we don't need anything. You're going to take the week off. And everybody's going to get paid. You're taking the week off. So if that, but they wanted to get rid of him anyways. That was going to happen. They weren't going to renew his contract. Not for the money he's making. Wasn't going to happen. All right. He's here. He's in the room with me. Get your questions ready. Because Gino Bulso, straight ahead. Whatever questions you have for him, running in the 7th. Now is your time. Text the program. You can tweet at us at Chad Benson Show as well. He's got the whole hour ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997.
Two o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in our nation's capital, Democratic California Congressman Ro Khanna angry over ABC ending Jimmy Kimmel Live over Kimmel's comments about Charlie Kirk's assassination.
I'm introducing a motion to subpoena Brendan Carr, to bring him in front of this committee, to stop the intimidation of private businesses and to stand up for the First Amendment.
Khanna claiming FCC Chairman Brendan Carr pressured ABC to cancel Kimmel. Turning Point USA has announced a new CEO and chair of the board following Charlie Kirk's assassination. Fox News the first to report it's Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk, comes 6 days after she addressed the nation on Friday And that was just 2 days after he was murdered.
If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country.
The organization releasing a statement reading, "May God bless Erica, the Kirk family, and the entire team at Turning Point USA." President Trump at a joint news conference with Prime Minister Keir Starmer today, capping his state visit to the UK, mentioning the wars in Ukraine and Gaza.
The one that I thought would be easiest would be because of my relationship with President Putin, but he's let me down. He's really let me down.
And Gaza?
I want an end. I want the hostages released, and I think it's going to be okay, but it has been a brutal period of time.
UK and France believe the path towards long-term peace in Gaza is a two-state solution, while the Trump administration's argument is that would reward Hamas. They believe it doesn't help any negotiations to try and end the war by doing that. By the way, Hamas leader Khalil Hayya is reportedly in Cairo to revive ceasefire talks. Here in Tennessee, Governor Lee says President Trump had been working behind the scenes long before signing that order to deploy the National Guard to combat crime in Memphis, netting more than 500 arrests and at least 100 indictments.
It started with a work of the U.S. Marshal Service some 3 or 4 months ago, followed up by an FBI effort that's been going on for the last 60 days.
National Guard could be in Memphis within the next 2 weeks. And after jumping to their highest level in nearly 4 years to start the month, initial filings for jobless benefits dropped back last week.
Weekly jobless filings are an indicator of the health of the overall job market and surged to 263,000 2 weeks ago. In the latest reading, the figure has fallen back to 231,000. The less volatile 4-week moving average finds around 240,000 applications for unemployment benefits every week for the past month.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan and the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Gino Bulso is with us, ladies and gentlemen, running in the 7th. Mark Green says, I'm out of here. I'm done with this. And we've been telling you guys to text in, give us your questions. Brother, thanks so much for coming on today.
My pleasure. Chad, happy to be here with you.
So we've been chatting about all kinds of stuff in between, and we're pretty excited about this. The first question we ask all of our guests, do you like mayonnaise?
No.
Okay, well, there you go. We wish you luck. And
interview over.
There you go. Well, there you go. Jody doesn't like it either. We're running out of people here. Mayonnaise is our go-to condiment.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I don't think you realize how important it is to our show.
No, I apologize, Chad.
It doesn't matter. It's too late now.
Okay.
At least you're honest with us about that. So let's first and foremost, let's throw it out there. Tell us how everything is going, how you're feeling about everything right now as we started early voting. Everything's out there. What's your sense?
We feel great. We were the last one into the race in late July, and we're able to catch the pack according to our internal polling by the end of August. And our polls have us right there in the dead heat for first, and we are reaching out to voters every possible way that we can on TV, on radio, on digital, in the mail, in-person appearances. Obviously, we've had a lot of debates and forums, so we are optimistic that we're ultimately be able to win this on October 7th.
So, weeds, we ask everybody about weed. I am a teetotaler, for those of you guys who are new to the show, just listening and stuff. And I'm a teetotaler, I'm a gold star, never tasted alcohol, never had a smoke, never had a drug. I don't even like taking it. Like if I hurt my foot, I don't even give me aspirin. I'm like, I don't like it. That being said, I'm a big kind of libertarian in the free world. And people are asking about weed. I think they want to get your sense on where you sit with that.
About marijuana?
Yeah. Reefer, the sticky icky.
Okay. Well, I look at it as an issue of public safety. I mean, just take a step back. Why is it that we make illegal any type of narcotic, whether it's heroin or cocaine or LSD or marijuana or anything else? And ultimately, it's not a moral or religious position that causes us as a society to outlaw many of these drugs. It's because they actually harm people. And one of the things that we've seen around the country, Chad, is that I believe it's 24 states now that have legalized marijuana. Colorado was one of the early states. What we saw in Colorado was that after it legalized marijuana, traffic-related deaths that were caused by drivers under the influence of marijuana spiked by 138%. And that, unfortunately, is a reason, in my view, that we should not legalize marijuana here in Tennessee.
So I'm a freedom kind of guy. I think as an adult, you should be allowed to live your life, do your thing. I think people ask, well, why is it illegal? Well, we kind of know why. If you want to go back and look why it's illegal, it's because it had more to do with politics about hemp and paper and stuff than a lot of other things. But it is not cocaine. It's not all those things. And alcohol, we can say the same thing about alcohol. I mean, alcohol is far more devastating than a lot of drugs. If we found alcohol today, they would never let it be illegal.
It's an interesting question to ponder, but you're right. I mean, the last report from NHTSA, the National Highway Transportation Safety Association, that I read indicated that we had approximately 40,000 traffic deaths in the country last year. 1/3 of those were caused by drivers under the influence of alcohol. So we actually lost approximately 13,300 lives due to alcohol in just 1 year in 2024 in the United States. And just to put that number in perspective, when you look at firearm-related homicides in the United States for the same period, for 2024, there were just over 16,000 homicides by firearms. So I think there's no question but that driving under the influence is a significant safety hazard, and there very well could be folks advocating making alcohol illegal for that reason.
Yeah. Remember what happened when that did that back in the day? We saw a huge spike in crime because, the gangs wanted it all illegal, all the mobsters. But it's just because I think we're at the point where I think a lot of our vets, a lot of people, the gummies, the stuff like that, where it does help them, and growing them at home. Even Jody kind of tiptoed around the questions. He's like, if you grow it at home and you're going to keep it and you're going to do it at home, it is, I don't have a problem with that. And because everybody's afraid to say, you know what, if you're an adult, you should be kind of allowed to do what you want to do as long as you're not going to harm anybody.
Well, and that's an argument against the government acting in a paternalistic way. I certainly understand that. But the key there, Chad, is you're not going to harm anybody. And what we've seen from these states that have legalized marijuana is that it does harm folks. Now, that may not be a reason ultimately that a state may decide to keep it illegal, but there is no denying the fact that the data shows that in Colorado and in other states, traffic-related deaths increased with the legalization of marijuana because in Colorado, 20% of drivers that caused accidents that caused fatalities had marijuana in their system.
What do you think about medical marijuana?
Well, I think it's a bit of a nuanced answer. I mean, the term medical marijuana is kind of inherently ambiguous. When you step back and look at it, I mean, if God put some plant or some chemical on this earth that a physician acting in accordance with the standard of care and acting ethically for the good of the patient could use to cure disease or to ease pain, then there'd be no logical reason not to allow such a drug to be used in the practice of medicine. The difficulty, of course, is in keeping the drug properly regulated to those areas where it actually is being used for legitimate medical reasons, as distinct from someone going to a walk-in clinic complaining of a headache and saying, give me a prescription for medical marijuana. I'm certainly somebody that's in favor of the former, but not the latter.
Gino Bulso is with us. We're talking about a lot of different things. You guys are sending a ton of stuff in. Keep sending us questions you've got for him. And a lot of it, again, we get a lot with the medical marijuana. Here's something, and I'm not trying to be mean, but just being honest. Everybody's commercials sound the same. Like, what separates all you guys? Like, and a lot of people have asked that. What's the difference between you and, like, everybody's trying to out-Trumpy the other person. I would say love Trump. What's the difference between everybody? Because it all kind of sounds and feels a little bit of the same.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, all of us are very different because I've had a chance, obviously, to know many of these candidates for a long time, serving with them in the legislature. And if you're looking at me, asking me what distinguishes me from the other three candidates, I'd say principally, Chad, it's two things. One, I'm known as the constitutional conservative in the race. I love this country. I love our country. Obviously, we just celebrated yesterday the anniversary of the signing of the Constitution on September 17 of 1787. And I'm very much interested in getting our federal government back within the bounds of the Constitution to give the people the type of limited federal government that our founders intended when they signed that document on September 17, 1787. And then the second thing is just my record of accomplishment and achievement in the state legislature, because I have passed almost 24 bills into law in just my 3 years in the State House of Representatives. Some of those are very significant, touching on pro-life issues, pro-Second Amendment issues, anti-illegal immigration issues, keeping biological boys out of girls' sports. And everything I've done in the state legislature is 100% consistent with the America First agenda that President Trump is pursuing in Washington, D.C. So in my view, it's those two things principally that differentiates me, the focus on the Constitution and the record of accomplishment in the state legislature.
And that sounds great. And you talk about getting back to the Constitution. Kimmel was suspended from ABC, and I think it's a good thing to ask because I think a lot of people, even people here who can't stand Kimmel, minus a few people that are totally fine that Trump does whatever he wants. The FCC, though, the chair coming out and basically saying, you're either going to do this the easy way or the hard way, and then him getting suspended a little bit later, that's a sense. And it feels, no matter what anybody says, if that was a gang, you would be like, well, they put it to me, you're either going to give me the lead or you're going to give me the silver. It has some people worried that, hey, this just feels like you're taking a step here where you're trying to come down on people that are criticizing. And that worries me.
Well, let me separate, public actors from private actors.
Yeah.
All of us have a right of free speech under the First Amendment.
Absolutely.
But the fact that you have that and you exercise that doesn't mean that an employer is obligated to keep you employed because of views you might express publicly or privately. When it comes to the government, on the other hand, obviously the government should not do anything to coerce or to suppress any particular type of speech unless it's a kind of speech that is directed to inciting violence or crime. That is in a different category according to our Supreme Court precedent.
So, because, I mean, you would understand, like if you were in court and you listened to what he said, you would go, that feels like it's a mob thing where he goes, we're going to do this the easy way or the hard way. And that's what he told ABC and Disney. And then he suspended a few hours later. It's easy to find some reasonable doubt there where people would go, well, yeah, that sounds like you just told them, get rid of him or else.
Well, I've not actually been able to take a look closely at what the FTC has said, but to the extent that somebody in the government is applying pressure to a private company to fire someone for something they said, that's not something I'd be in favor of. All right.
Gino Bulso's with us. We want to get what you guys have to say and definitely send us all the questions you have because, it's you guys have a lot of good questions. And the one of the things that I think people are trying to figure out here is everybody looks at politicians and, whether you start out a little bit small, you're in the state, you may be city council, whatever it is, but eventually, a lot of people want to get to D.C. And the worry about that is who's funding a lot of it? The lobbyists, right? AIPAC, we talk about that all the time. I asked Jody, I've asked all of the people that come in here, Afton and everybody about AIPAC, and they're like, they call us all the time. I have a problem with that because I think they should be registered as a foreign agent, but there's a lot of other people out there besides just AIPAC. And, it's like sometimes I think everybody should be in NASCAR. You guys should be, whoever's sponsoring you guys should be wearing the patches.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Chad, because we do have a problem with dark money being involved in politics and to a certain extent trying to overcome the will of the people. That's going to take a constitutional amendment, which frankly I'm in favor of, given the Supreme Court's decision in the Citizens United case. But I do not believe that corporations, PACs, should have the same rights of free speech under the First Amendment as individual citizens do, which is currently the law. So I think that's something that does need to be changed. And when you look at the top 4 candidates on the Republican side, Chad, I'm happy to say that ours is the only campaign that has received donations, contributions, and support solely from private individuals. We have no corporate money, we have no PAC money, and it's generally, I think it's 550 unique individual persons who have donated to our campaign to allow us to get our message out. Whereas, obviously, you've seen a huge influx of dark money in this race in just the last 2 weeks, both supporting some of the other candidates and attacking one of the other candidates as well.
Would you... getting money out of politics is, as you know, money courts power, power courts money. It's the way it works. Unfortunately, politics is a business. No matter what they say, it's a $1 trillion business. Would you like to see Citizens United overturned and there be some sort of limit across the board of what things? Because I'd like more transparency, because there are too many people that I feel like for politicians, it's party first, politician second, and whatever's left for the people, well, that's what you guys get.
I mean, I'm not in favor of the Supreme Court overturning Citizens United because I think it was properly decided based on the language of our current First Amendment. But I do think we have 2 corrosive influences in elective politics. One is the absence of term limits for Congress, because we have folks that go up there and just stay forever, and they've somehow lose focus on helping the public, acting in the public welfare, and they become more interested in just perpetuating themselves in office. And then second, this corporate money, this PAC money that we've been talking about, it unfortunately causes politicians sometimes to act in the interests of those who are funding them rather than in the interests of those who voted for them. So I'm all in favor of getting us to a constitutional convention where we can not just do away with PAC money in federal elections, but put in term limits for Congress and get to a balanced budget as well.
Oh, that sounds good. Gino Bulso's here. He is running, obviously, in the 7th. You guys know that, but that's why. Keep sending your questions. We got a lot of questions here. We got more with him. He's going to be here throughout the rest of the show today, and we got a lot more questions coming up straight ahead. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7. Birch Gold, right now, gold, smart, by the way, get yourself some gold. There's some chaos going on up there. And the reason gold is awesome is because, A, you can have it physically, which is great. The dollar's getting weaker, chance of some inflation, recession, those kind of things. But global uncertainty, people flock to gold, and Birch wants you to do the same thing. All they want to do is get you the information. If you're a first-time buyer, by the end of the month you buy, you have a chance to get a rebate of $10,000 in precious metals, which is awesome. They can show you how you can move over to an IRA. If you've got an IRA, move it over there backed by gold. They're who I trust, but you got to get the info first. So text the word Benson to 989898 now. That's the word Benson. Find out how you can take advantage of the rebate as well as what you might want to do to protect yourself in the event that something goes sideways. Maybe even a zombie apocalypse. You never know. Text the word Benson to 9898 for Birch Gold. All right. Gino Bulso is with us. We are talking about, obviously, election. It's coming up fast. It's already early voting's going on. You're out and about. You got a debate tonight, or is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, this is the third debate?
It's probably the 15th.
Oh, really?
We've had a lot of them.
It's the third one, though, at was it the Ray Stevens Theater or whatever?
Yes, at the Ray Stevens Cabaret.
How many people are going to be there tomorrow?
I'm not sure.
Okay. It's a surprise.
Well, it just depends on who shows up. I mean, I think everyone who's a Republican candidate is invited, but how many actually appear, I won't know. Okay. Okay. Very cool. Term limits. You talk about term limits. A lot of people ask about term. What exactly, term limit wise, would you like to see? Because, it's not, is it for the Senate and for Congress? What would you like to see? I'd like to see 12 years in each chamber.
Okay.
So in the Senate, that's 2 terms. In the House, that's 6 terms.
Yeah, I think that is good. But are you worried because, and you and I both know this, and for those of you out there, you get into this and you go out to D.C., it's a different world now because you find out, okay, this is a lot more business. There's a lot more moving parts. There's a lot more pressure, even from your own party at times. And to get stuff done, even if you don't agree with it. And that was my frustration with the One Big Beautiful Bill. Like the Palantir stuff. I'm sorry. Palantir is building an empire it is the evil empire as far as I'm concerned. To be able to do pretty much anything they want in the way in AI and all of this stuff. And plus, Peter Thiel's obsessed with the Antichrist, which is so weird. I have worries about things like that. And not just because AI, we have to have it because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
So we have to be the leader. But I worry about the stuff that Snowden talked about is going to be nothing comparatively to what Palantir is going to be able to deliver.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of issues when you get to Washington, D.C. What can you actually accomplish given how dysfunctional things are, how much business is transacted there? But I think we just fall back, Chad, on looking at what has worked historically. I mean, you obviously remember Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And you probably remember that in his farewell address to the American people on January 11, 1989, he said, "I did not do anything that you did not do for me."
Yeah.
And so he had the public behind him, and that's how he was able to convince Congress to enact his agenda. President Trump is very much the same way. He's got the public solidly behind what he's doing, and that's how he's able to move Washington in the way that he is able to move it. And that goes obviously all the way back to Abraham Lincoln, who in that first debate with Stephen Douglas in 1858 said public sentiment is everything. With it, nothing can fail. Against it, nothing can succeed. So I'm going up to D.C., Chad, as one representative. By myself, I can do nothing. But if I can enact some changes that get the public energized to change the way Washington works, to change its taxing policy, to change its spending policy, to get it to take serious that $37.2 trillion debt, then I believe we can accomplish quite a bit.
You talk about the debt, and we can sit here. Another thing with the One Big Beautiful Bill, the only tax cuts that were really made permanent were for the top 1%. I would have raised their taxes because they don't pay taxes. Like you and I both know this. What Steve Bannon even said, you could raise it to 100%. Those people aren't paying. They know what they're doing. Those things are put there for them. They help craft these laws to get around all of this stuff. They borrow money off their stocks. The way they do it it's brilliant the way they've set it up. But there is that worry that, again, the rich we're seeing this big gap, that middle class that really Trump has done extremely well with because the left has abandoned them. That is shrinking, and I feel like it's getting further and further apart.
Let me just gently push back on that a little bit, Chad, because as fate would have it, I actually looked at the IRS statistics from 2022, which is the last year for which the data is available. And what those statistics showed was that for the fiscal year 2022, the bottom 50% of wage earners paid 3% of the total federal income tax. Okay, so the bottom half paid 3%. The top 1% of wage earners paid 40% of the entire federal tax income. The top 10% paid 97%.
I absolutely know.
For those who say that top wage earners don't pay taxes, it is demonstrably a false claim.
Well,
it's
a false claim when everybody says that, but you also look and say the way that, that they pay taxes and the way that they can maneuver around certain things and is tremendous because you can't ignore the fact, because I care about everybody, the middle class, the poor, the wealthy. I want everybody to do well, but I feel like the middle class is getting squeezed in ways that they're asking a lot of the middle class at times, and I feel like they're really getting squeezed.
Yeah, I could not agree with you more there, Chad. You're absolutely right. In fact, the cost of living that our families are now having to deal with is just unacceptable. When you look at the cost of housing, you look at the cost of health insurance, you look at the cost of groceries, you look at the cost of transportation, it's simply not an America that we grew up in or that our parents grew up in. And I think in large part, that's a function of the fact that we have a federal government that just spends too much, that actually feeds the inflation that we saw over the last 4 years with the Biden-Harris administration. And one of the, I think, best things that President Trump is doing is focusing on that middle class, because we need a vibrant middle class in order to move the country forward. And I'm somebody who's in favor of getting to a flat fair tax. I mean, Steve Forbes, made famous in his run for president, the flat tax at, I think it was 15% at the time. I think that's a far better system than normalizing taking a 30% or 35% or 40% of a family's wages and then allowing all these different deductions from time to time. I'd like to reduce the tax burden on the middle class so that we can spur the economy.
Absolutely. Gino Bulso is with us. He's going to be with us. We got a bunch of other questions about Charlie Kirk, about a lot of different things. Epstein, the whole 9 yards. I see all your questions. If you got any more, send them into us right here. You can text the program. He is here with us through the end of the hour. This is Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
2:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, we got a crash 65 northbound near Vietnam Veterans Boulevard right there at exit 95. Then in Antioch, right shoulder is blocked by a crash 24 eastbound at Harding Place. And over here on the South Loop downtown, a crash 40 eastbound at 2nd Avenue. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in our nation's capital, during a House oversight hearing, Democratic California Congressman Ro Khanna moved to subpoena FCC Chairman Brendan Carr. Khanna claiming Carr pressured ABC to cancel Jimmy Kimmel Live over Kimmel's comments about the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Brendan Carr pressured ABC to cancel Jimmy Kimmel, and Disney cancels Jimmy Kimmel. This canceling from an administration that lectured us about cancel culture.
The motion was tabled in a vote of 24-21. Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica, taking over as CEO and chair of Turning Point USA. The organization releasing a statement today reading, "May God bless Erica, the Kirk family, and the entire team at Turning Point USA." Meanwhile, Homeland Security has designated Kirk's funeral in Arizona this Sunday as a Level 1 event. That's the same security designation that the Super Bowl gets. And investigators in Rockland County, New York, now say a middle school student faces multiple felonies related to child pornography for allegedly scamming other students into sending compromising pictures of themselves.
A lot of these cases, they end up out of the state, out of the country mostly. So it is a little unusual and a little troubling.
Male students coming forward saying they thought they were exchanging photos with girls. Over 568,000 2020-2025 Hyundai Palisade SUV models being recalled because the seatbelt buckles might fail to latch properly, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The defect increases the risk of an injury if the occupant is not actually buckled in, but believes they are seat belted in. Dealers going to replace the seat buckle assemblies for free. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Beacon Capital Management wants you to give them a call. I'm going to give you a free financial consultation. When it comes to things like taxes, and the One Big Beautiful Bill has a ton of stuff in it, including ways that you can deduct certain things like $10,000 off in car loan interest. But there's some stuff that goes with this, caveats like has to be assembled here in the USA. Above the line charitable deductions include $1,000 for individuals, $2,000 for couples, so many other things. And remember, these things are all limited. So there's a certain amount of time and there's certain things that you have to do to qualify for these. And this expires in 2028. But if you're 65 or older, you're eligible for additional senior deduction up to $6,000 with a phase out, not complete elimination of Social Security taxes, but a heck of a benefit. So take advantage of it now. Call Beacon for a free personalized financial consultation. Visit beaconcm.com, beaconcm.com, or call 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303. This is a paid placement. Webroot, guys, go to webroot.com/Chad. Save 50% right now. Protect yourself on the web. Let me tell you something. Your data, they want it bad. 10 trillion this year, hackers are going to steal. And Webroot's here to protect you. So simple and easy to do. It's got a VPN. You download it. They're going to protect you from phishing and all these scams out there, your family, your friends. And, like, I don't think people realize how easy it is for them to get your data in today's world. That's why you need protection. And was it TransUnion? 4 million people. By the time people had figured out and they announced it, because they always hold back for a little while, what ended up happening? Well, it's out there and it's on the dark web. And then, protect your family, protect your friends. 50% off right now with Webroot. Simple to set up. The VPN's awesome. You don't have to worry. Even if you're not super, digitally sound, this is easy to do and a way to protect your family and your friends from phishing scams and all of those things out there. Go to webroot.com/Chad. Save 50% now. Webroot.com/Chad. Live a better digital life with Webroot. All right, here we go. Gino Bulso in the studio. Somebody wanted me to ask you this, and I said this is the kind of question we'd ask, because you've already said you hate mayonnaise, but whatever. We're still gonna ask you and be nice to you. Do you like Wendy's?
Do I like Wendy's?
Yeah.
Yes.
They make square burgers. You got to tell people that.
Dave's been doing that since the 1970s.
He has,
I think they're delicious.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Wendy's, it's a yes on the Wendy's. All right. Epstein. It's a big deal for a lot of people because the reality is the Trump campaign and a lot of the people, whether it has been, the likes of Dan Bongino or even Trump himself, the vice president, of course, the FBI director, pushed a lot of this stuff. We got to get this out there. Thomas Massie seems to be one of the only Republicans that really wants this thing to come out. And I don't think Trump's involved in any of this stuff. And I think there's a lot of people that are. Would you be in favor of getting it released?
I'd be in favor of something slightly different, Chad, because one thing we know is that, Epstein was involved for many years in abusing young ladies, and Maxwell assisted him in that effort. And what is concerning to me is that despite the fact that there were many others involved in his illegal criminal conduct, there have been no prosecutions except of Epstein and Maxwell. So whether the Department of Justice releases records or not, my question is, why is it that the authorities either in Florida or New York or wherever else this horrific conduct occurred have not done more to find those who were responsible, along with Epstein, in abusing these young ladies and bring them to justice? That's what concerns me the most.
Do you think, because, obviously there's conspiracy theories and stuff, but it feels like, and I think most people, even CIA agents and a lot of other people say, yeah, he was probably some sort of asset for somebody. So there's always the worry, whether it's the Mossad or the CIA, because how do you get away with it for that long and do those many things? And people have serious questions about this. And the women, even yesterday, I don't know if you saw anything with Kash Patel, but him and, he said he never trafficked to anybody but himself, which we know is a lie, because Prince Andrew, for God's sakes, why? That's the stuff that frustrates so many people and things like this, because it's like your wife saying, no, you can't look at the phone even though I'm texting somebody. That makes you think that there's something you don't want me to see.
Exactly. But this is serious criminal conduct occurring over many years involving many players. So putting aside just for a moment what's in a particular file that the Department of Justice has, why is it that our criminal justice authorities have not found witnesses, investigated these cases, and brought charges against others who are responsible? That's frankly what I'd like to know.
Well, it's very disturbing. Well, they found the witnesses, they've got the women, but they're all terrified. And Massey, he said, look, I'll announce their names on the floor because, hey, the founding fathers, they made sure that we're not going to get sued for it. But we've got to start somewhere. And it sounds like they're not interested in prosecuting. And that makes everybody go, okay, then there's got to be some big players. If you're not going to go after people who did things to young girls and your thing is, we're done, he committed suicide, there's nothing to see here, and we've got the file paperwork and they can go through it or not. That sends a horrible message, I think, to a lot of people out there when the big push is we're here to protect the kids.
It does. The fact of the matter is I think our focus should be on prosecuting those who harmed our young ladies, underage girls, in this horrific manner over a period of years. And just releasing records so that the public can see them, in my mind, does not nearly go far enough. We need to have those who were involved in that conduct, abusing those girls, held criminally responsible.
Oh, I agree. I mean, you can do it all across the board. But if you're not going to do anything from here on out, then it just feels like the swamp got bigger. And even this president is involved with it. He's willing to look the other way because he said stuff like it's a hoax, and it's not. None of this stuff. You can't look at those, because I think the other problem is everybody sees those women as women, but they were girls. They were,
Right.
you know, and if they were all 14-year-old girls standing out there, I think America would have a different picture of this situation.
No doubt. I agree 100%.
So, Charlie Kirk, obviously last week was horrific. Political violence. There's, first of all, I'm going to say political. There's no place in the world for just violence. You know, whatever, keep your hands to yourself kind of stuff. This is an ugly situation. It's an ugly time. You know, the left has gone wackadoo and has been heading in a weird direction. The right's had their problems as well. Let's not pretend that both sides at some point in time haven't had the lead in something. How would you bring the temperature down?
Well, I think I would just continue to do what Charlie Kirk did his whole life. I mean, he was about engaging others in respectful dialogue and getting to the truth. And I think that's what we need to do as part of Charlie's legacy, is to continue to do that. When his widow, Erica, addressed the country several days ago, she said that Charlie wanted to be remembered for two things: faith and courage. And I think we can honor Charlie's legacy the best by picking up both of those virtues, faith and courage. And faith obviously involves having respect for, having love for your fellow man. I mean, that's obviously one of the central tenets of the moral teachings of Christianity. So we have to have love overcome hate, and we have to have the courage to follow the truth. And that's what Charlie did his whole life, no matter who it offended. And obviously, some of what he said offended many, but he was simply looking at the world through the eyes that God gave him, through principles of natural law, and understanding that there's an order to things and following that order. So my advice as to how we bring the temperature down, we continue with Charlie's legacy, faith and courage.
You're going to, you know, you hear this in today's world now because of gerrymandering, because a lot of this stuff, the primaries are really important for a lot of, you could look around the country and go, right, if whatever primary's done here, the other person has no shot. But there is, you know, I mean, we look around the country, we see states where 35% voted for Trump or 40% voted for Trump, yet they've got no representation. And those people don't seem to care about those people. And then you look over here and you say, you know, 35 or 40% voted for the other side, but the Republicans have no representation. How do we bring it so people feel like, look, I may not agree with you, but at least I think you're doing an honest thing and you're working for my side? How do you try to expand that tent?
It's difficult, Chad, because, you know, what you're referring to is this concept called gerrymandering. Yeah. And that's been going on since 1802. I mean, the term actually comes from the then governor of Massachusetts, Elbridge Gerry, who was a signatory to the Declaration of Independence. And he was in favor of, and ultimately did, redistrict a state Senate district in a form of a salamander, which is how the term gerrymandering came about. So this type of political redistricting has been with us since the founding of our country. And so when someone raises the question, how do we get rid of it? I would say with difficulty, because regardless of which party has been in power, it is something that has been done to increase the power of that party. And I do not have a good answer, Chad, as to how we do away with it.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Gino Bulso's in here. Early voting's going on. You got, obviously, we're getting closer. You getting nervous? You can be honest.
Okay, the honest answer is no, because, you know, I come from a competitive background, not just in the courtroom where we try significant cases to judges and juries all over the country, but an athletic background. And I mean, from my perspective, you just do your best and you leave the result in God's hands. So I'm not nervous about the way this is going to turn out. I'm optimistic that we're going to be successful because of all the work that we're putting in, the response we're getting from voters, and the data that we have showing that we're right there at the top of the heap. So nerves really do not enter into it, whether we're here on the tennis court or in the courtroom.
Do you think you could bench more than Jody or Afton?
Certainly more than Afton.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe more than Jody. We'd have to see.
Yeah.
I mean,
how about Reeves?
Maybe so.
Maybe so.
Maybe so.
Did you beat him in a foot race?
Without question.
Okay, just want to make sure because these are important things that people want to know, right? You know what, guys? We ask serious questions here. We do. Immigration, hot topic. Obviously, probably the number one thing that besides the economy that blew up Biden's presidency was immigration. And we've been talking about this. You know, people are all about, let's get rid of all the bad guys. Let's get rid of a lot of these people that have come over here. But then they start to see how the sausage is made. And you and I both know, you know, with some of the stuff that they're seeing, people are like, well, hold on a second. I don't know if I want that. How do we go about getting the people out of here? Why aren't we going after business owners more often? Why aren't we going after some of these people that, you know, are facilitating this and are hiring some of these people in it rather than just going after, because I think once we can start doing that, and that's the question that's been out there forever. I'm not the first one to ask it, that why aren't we going in a certain way to, because once it dries up, people would rather be broke at home from where they came than here in a nation that they have nothing.
Well, I'm proud to say that in the Tennessee General Assembly, we have been enacting measures to try to deal with that very issue, holding others responsible for either smuggling or harboring or in any way getting illegal aliens into the job market, because it is something that needs to be demagnetized. And President Trump, obviously, just by the force of his leadership when he was sworn in, stopped the flow of illegal immigrants over our southern border. And so now the question is, what do we do with trying to clean up those who are here illegally? And I think ultimately, Chad, we need to get to a country where everybody is here lawfully. We simply cannot tolerate the type of shadow societies that we have now, where we have groups of illegal aliens that are just in the shadows of our communities. We need to go ahead and bring them out. We need to address, you know, who should be allowed to stay through an appropriate, you know, H-2A visa or an H-2B visa, and who needs to leave. And I think President Trump has offered great leadership, even recognizing that in the agricultural world and in the hospitality world, there may be immigrants that should be issued appropriate work permits under our existing immigration laws. But I think we need to accelerate the pace at which that process is undergoing.
Just going to stick around. Gino Bulso is here. We're going to wrap up the show. We got some more questions for him coming up here. And if you got a couple more questions, send it on in right here to us. Well, we got him in here. And again, early voting's going on. So he says he's not nervous. He knows he could outbench and outrun any of the other people, which is, I think, feats of strength need to be part of what you guys do. Maybe a swimsuit contest for everybody. I don't know what the next debate holds for us.
The mayonnaise thing's still an issue.
Then the mayonnaise thing is definitely an issue. He doesn't like mayonnaise, if you guys heard. It is the Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 99.7. Oh, no. Hold on. All right. Wellness Institute Nashville. Does your back hurt? Well, stop it. Go to painisbad.com. The Big Daddy Trump special going on right now. $12 right there. Comprehensive exam. That's the x-ray machine. They're looking at everything. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they're going to give you their diagnosis, and then they get you on a plan that's going to work. That's what you want. I swear by them. No surgery, no spinal injections, no painkillers. If you think it's not going to work, Jed, no. Go see them. They're amazing. Their technology is incredible. They're the best around. Call 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. $12, comprehensive exam, x-rays. You can even bring your MRI. You're going to get diagnosed and your first treatment, all for $12. Check them out at painisbad.com. Call 615-246-5009. All right. So, Gino Bulso is here as we wrap up the program. The immigration thing, I like where you went with that. I think that was a strong thing. We've got a lot of people. I've said this. We've got, for lack of a better term, but you know what? We got people who want a booty call. They're here for money. They're not. That's it. They're here for economic. They don't even want to live here. They don't want to settle here. They eventually like to go home. But we do have people that want to put a ring on. They want to marry. They've been here. They're in the shadows. Bringing them out, I think, isn't the worst thing. And getting the worst of the worst, just that shouldn't be hard to do. But you see the sanctuary cities, they make it as hard as anything. Do you think there is a pathway in that way? Because I do know that Trump is seriously considering, okay, we can't get rid of everybody. There are industries that depend on these people. Do you think there is a pathway there?
I think there's a way that we can decide who we want to stay, because I think we've got two fundamental truths, Chad. One, it's historically been the case that we rely on immigrants for our country. I mean, legally.
Yeah.
My grandparents came to this country in the 1920s through Ellis Island, and we lived the American dream. My parents were born here. I was the first person in my family to go to college. You know, I was in a vocational track in sheet metal when I was in high school, but a lot of my teachers recognized some academic potential, so I ended up going to college and went to law school. And then Kathy and I have been married for 40 years now. We've got 5 wonderful children, 8 grandchildren. We've had the chance to live the American dream. So we do want to continue with a robust legal immigration process, but we also need folks to love this country, because if we do not have people that genuinely love this country and want to see it prosper, we will dissolve as a society. And we're not close to that right now, but we're close enough that I've decided to take my love for our country and go to D.C. to try to improve things, because we are at a crisis where you look at our preamble to the Constitution and we talk about preserving the benefits of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. And that's the critical question right now. What are we going to do to secure the blessings of liberty to our posterity, our children and grandchildren? That's the critical question. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you, and that's why I'm in this race, Chad.
If you see something that Trump does, because a lot of people are afraid, are you going to push back? Because I want somebody who's independent, strong enough to push back. And let's be real, it's fraught. You know, if you see something you don't like, and you know, Massey goes and does it, and you know, it doesn't always have to be for something, but sometimes we do need, you know, even the everybody, because it's co-equal branches. And I think Congress over the last 20 years has decided we don't want to be equal. We'd like to be a little lesser land. We'll let the judicial and the president, you guys can hash it out. Would you push back if need be?
Absolutely. And it's been a bit of a mixed bag, because, you know, the role of Congress is set out in Article 1 of the Constitution. It's got 17 enumerated powers under Section 8. It's gone way beyond that. It's actually usurped powers that the states have, and we're left with under the 10th Amendment. The powers of the executive are set out in Article 2 of the Constitution. And recently, I mean, you are correct, Congress has ceded some of its power to the executive branch, and especially in areas of war power. So I'm someone, Chad, who's going up there not to follow any person in particular. I'm going up there to follow the Constitution.
So we got about a minute here. Give you the floor, whatever you want to say to the people. Why, Gino? Why him? We know what he can bench. We know what he runs the 40 in. That's always good. He hates mayonnaise, likes Wendy's. What else about you that you would want to say that, hey, this is your chance to tell everybody why you?
I would just say that I'm someone who's had the opportunity to live the American dream. I'm a self-made man. You know, as I mentioned, I was the first person in my family to go to college. Kathy and I have worked very hard to raise our 5 kids, and we're enjoying the fruits of that with our 8 grandkids right now. And we need folks in Washington who genuinely want to hand off a country to our children and grandchildren that is at least as prosperous as the one that we inherited from our parents. And we are not on that track right now. We need to get there. We need to reduce taxes. We need to reduce spending. We need to reduce the cost of living. And I have some ideas as to how to accomplish all those things.
All right. Gino's all for weed, too. All right. I'm kidding. Everybody, settle down. We know he's not. Appreciate you coming in, man. Good luck.
Thank you, Chad.
On your way. This is going to be a battle, no doubt about that. You guys have a good one. Matt, straight ahead.